Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Scarland here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And today's topic is going to be the Tales of Old Artifact Choice Pack. So yes, you heard that right, Choice Pack. We knew that this was coming. The developer several months ago told us that they were going to bring these back into the game. And most likely go ahead and put them on the Zen store and just sell them for outright currency. And that's what they did. This should be no surprise to anyone. They told us in advance that this was coming, and here we are today, and here it is. So, as of filming this video and when this video gets released, and if you're watching this in the future, it might not directly affect you, but starting Thursday, October 15th, lasting all the way till October 22nd, so it is 7 days long, and you will have the opportunity to purchase these. They will come in a choice pack. We will jump in the game and look at it more in depth. And then we're also going to have a discussion about this and why these artifacts are so important, my overall feelings about these artifacts, etc., etc. So you have 7 days to accumulate these if you so choose, and we'll show you the price tag and everything on these. Let's go ahead and jump in game. Alright guys, and here we are in game currently on Xbox. If you navigate over to the Zen Market, go ahead down to the new tab. You'll have the sash of embellishments and the scarf of the embellishments, both coming from the Tales of Old, and they have a price tag of 1,000 Zen each, which of course is $10 each. Now, these aren't horrible, but you don't need them for the set. We will look in depth at the statistics and why these are so overpowered and why these are such a big deal. So if we look at the statistics on the belt, you're going to see its armor, pen, accuracy, combat advantage, plus all of the attributes. To my knowledge in the game, there are no necklaces or belts with three statistics as well as all the attributes. That's why these are mainly for PvP, because you can gain a lot of statistical value out of these. However, if you want to use them for PvE content, you can. So this is the belt, and then of course we do have the necklace as well. A lot of people wanted the necklace because it is an animated scarf. So a lot of people wanted the necklace simply for the transmute. So if you choose to get the necklace and belt, that's completely up to you. Do you need it? No, you don't need it. So the main focus that we're going to be looking at here is the Storyteller's Choice Pack. Now this has a price tag of $15, aka 1,500 Zen. If you look at it, it's literally a choice pack. And it's going to be coming at Epic, so that's not too bad. You know, you're looking at $15. You technically need 3 of these. As far as best in slot, and you want to talk about best in slot combinations, you need 3 of these artifacts. So, 15 times 3, $45. At least they're coming at Epic, so you don't have to dump a whole lot of resources in. I mean, you still have to get them to Mythic. But that's not horrible. I mean, you're talking about $45 for 3 artifacts, which are going to be best in slot. Now, why are these such a big deal? We need to look at the in-depth stats. Now, most people are going to take the Envenomed, the Flayed, and the Frozen. Alright? Now, you can buy these from other players. They're under the miscellaneous tab if you search them. Here's the going prices on Xbox currently. If you go up to the equipment, people are actually opening them and then trying to sell, specific artifacts. So there are a plethora of ways to get this. Either you have to swipe your credit card, you have to buy it from another player, or you have to utilize the ADX. So if you can utilize the ADX, that is up to you. I know PC has a massive backlog. I know PS4 has a massive backlog. Xbox is getting to be, around the backlog. So, however the means are to get the items, that's what you have to do. So let's go ahead and dive into this and really look and see why these are such a big deal and why they're considered best in slot. So let's look at the statistics of the Envenomed, for instance. So it's power, defense, critical strike, combat advantage. You gain 4 statistics. You can read on your screen about the activated power. And then what's important with these is also you need the chapters. Now, the chapters you have to buy in the Wondrous Bazaar. They're coming to console on Tuesday, which is October 20th. They should already be on PC. Each one of these artifacts has 5 chapters. See where it says tells acquired? So every time you activate a chapter on this artifact, it'll gain that ability as your active artifact. So most DPS choose the Envenomed Storyteller's Journal for all of these active chapters. So not only do you get the effect that you can read on your screen, your use effect, but then you get all 5 of the tells acquired. So you get a tell of poison, a tell of awe, a tell of madness, a tell of power, which is the important one. It increases your damage by 5%. And then the final chapter is generate 20 action points every second for 15 seconds. So you don't have to activate every chapter. So if we look at my flayed storytellers here and we inspect it, all of these chapters aren't unlocked because I don't ever intend on using this as an active artifact. So keep in mind that each of these chapters are going to cost you 200,000 AD unless you have VIP rank 12, and then they'll cost you 150,000. So if we look at the Frozen Storyteller here, I have the last chapter unlocked for certain situations. If I'm doing Tower of the Mad Mage or Zariel and everyone's using different artifacts, I wanted this to be available to me. You'll notice that I don't have them all unlocked. I just have the bottom one, which is the most important. Increase you and your allies' damage by 5% for 15 seconds. It's a buff. So I chose to get that artifact unlocked on this one just in case I have to use it. But also keep note at the same time, I'm not gaining the 4 other benefits from having this as an active artifact. Whereas, again, if we look at my Envenomed one, I have all 5 chapters unlocked. Because I know this is going to be a question, I know I've been asked this already numerous times, is people were under the impression that they had to get 3 artifacts and all 5 chapters, so that's 15 chapters. I mean, you guys do the math on how much this is costing here. Not only do you have to buy the artifacts, then you have to level these artifacts to Mythic, and then spend 200,000 AD times 15 for all the chapters. That's not the case. You only need, theoretically, 5 chapters for the active artifact that you're going to be using, which most DPS are going to be using the Envenomed. Now again, why are these so important? It's important because they should have been nerfed when they first came out, and the company decided not to adjust them or not do anything with them. So these are going to be theoretically best in slot for a very long time. I don't see any combination of artifacts coming out that are going to ever rival these anytime soon. I know a lot of my friends are asking me about investing in these and then selling them down the road. The only problem about making a large position of these and investing in these to sell them down the road for a higher price tag is that Cryptic might ultimately bring them back, right? They might bring them back during Black Friday or Winter Festival or even the Jubilee next year or something. We simply don't know. So be very cautious about making investments in these and trying to sell them down the road. But this is why they're so overpowered. You essentially get 3 set bonuses total. Now, normally, in Neverwinter, you would get 1 3-piece set bonus. So when I say 3-piece set bonus, it's usually 1 artifact and then your necklace and your belt. So you can clearly see that my character does have a 3-set bonus. I am using the Call of Evil set. It's the Dark Remnants. So it says 3 of the set activates the Call of Evil, right? Everybody should be familiar with how 3-piece sets work. increases damage dealt by 2.5%, increases damage dealt by an additional 2.5% against demons, devils, and fiends. Everybody should know or be familiar with the Dark Remnant set. That's usually what everyone uses. Or you also use the Hallister set, which is the 3-piece set. Is the Mad Dash. When you stand still for 3 seconds, your damage and movement speed are increased by 5%. Everyone should be familiar with how 3-piece sets work. Again, you need to have one artifact and then your necklace and the belt. Now here is the problem, and this is why this is broken and overpowered, is that if you look at the bonuses for the Storyteller's journals, you actually gain 2 more 3-piece sets for a total of 3 sets. So on your screen right now, you have part of the set of the Storyteller journal set, 3 out of 4. It's because I have 3 artifacts. I'm going to increase power by 1500 and HP by 15k times 3. It's for each journal you have equipped. So you guys do the math. And then if you have 3 of them, which I do, everyone should have 3 journals, you do a additional hit for weapon damage on a critical hit, which is the old Lost Mouth set bonus. So that's the second 3-piece bonus. Now, we also have a third 3-piece bonus, which is called part of the set tells set. I know these words are very confusing, but you're going to see how it's grayed out because I don't have the belt and the necklace. It doesn't matter because I'm still using 3 of the artifacts. So now, 2 of the set increases all my attributes by 1, and 3 of the set, my powers have a chance to deal additional unresistible damage equal to 10% of your weapon damage. Again, it's not a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. The attributes are way more important than the 3-piece set. But again, I'm gaining all of this. So there are 2 3-piece set bonuses just from having the 3 journals, and then I still can have a normal 3-piece set. That's why these are so overpowered. That's why these are going to be best in slot for a very long time, because I don't think Cryptic is going to ever nerf these, and I don't think they're going to ever develop anything that is going to rival these. It's going to take us several mods down the road before you see something that is ultimately going to rival having these 3 bonuses, essentially. So I'm thinking maybe next year, if they bring Tales of Old back, with like new dungeons and everything. For anyone that doesn't understand how Tales of Old works, we're gonna have a little discussion about that momentarily, but I did want to show you guys why these are so important and why you should most likely try your hardest to get this, because it is best in slot if you're trying to min-max your character in game, specifically for DPS. But even if you're a tank or a healer, these bonuses are still very well, just for the HP bonuses as well as the attribute bonus. The damage is insignificant, but just the sheer fact that you can have 3 separate 3-piece bonuses is what makes these worth so much money. So again, if you plan on investing in these and selling them to newer players down the road, I urge you to use caution. It is a risky investment. We know Cryptic's track record. They could very well just keep bringing these back to the Zen market and selling them for cold hard cash whenever they want. So let's talk about some discussion here. Let's bring up a video and go into just a discussion. I really wanted to show you guys the stats and why these are so important, and let's just go ahead and start the discussion on this. Alrighty, on your stream right now, you're looking at Frozen Heart, essentially. So if you are unfamiliar with Tales of Old and you missed out on Tales of Old and you have no idea what Tales of Old even is, essentially what the company did is they took 4 of the old dungeons that were taken out of the game, they brought them back into the game, but made it a limited time event sort of thing. And what they did is they made it into a tier system. So the original Tales of Old one dungeon would be released for X amount of time, and then the next one would be released, and then the next one, and the next one. And then when they brought it back into the game for the second time, Tales of Old, they called it the Grand Retelling, where it would be one long event, like 20 days, and the dungeons would rotate every day. So what you're looking at on the screen right now is actually a tier 5 Frozen Heart that I did during either the Grand Retelling or the original. I'm not 100% sure. I never actually released this video. This is one of the videos that I just had sitting in my archives, and I said, well, hey, I can use this footage. So you could see on your screen, like, Trinkets of the Old. There was a lot of currency for Tales of the Old. But the most important chase item coming from Tales of the Old, of course, is the artifacts, and that's what everyone was farming during the event. And it was a chore. It wasn't easy. You had to put in some substantial grinding to get all 3 of your artifacts, and then if you wanted the belt and the necklace, that was more grinding. And then, of course, you had to get all the chapters that you wanted. So Tales of the Old was it was a very grindy event. When you compare it to like Redeemed Citadel, it's about the same grind factor. If you're trying to get top 100 on the leaderboards of Redeemed Citadel, it's about the same amount of grinding as what Tales of Old took. It's running the same content over and over and over again until you accumulate enough currency to buy the items that you are looking for. So the dungeons themselves, they weren't very hard. They tried introducing a tier system. As you would progress the dungeon, so you would have to do it 5 times. The 5th tier being the hardest. Now, what you're watching right now is that 5th tier. You can see on your screen on the right-hand side where it says Team Lives Left. That means you can only die X amount of times or you fell. The difficulty tier is ×5. The chest bonus is ×5. Also, they had embellishments. Limited consumables, no artifacts, at wills cause damage to you, enemy attacks cause poison, and power and defense are reduced by 50%. So all of these negative effects are not in your favor, right? It's the point of this was to make it as hard as they can for the most currency value. Now, a lot of people didn't like this. A lot of people really didn't like Tales of Old and how it was set up, the mechanics and the difficulty and the tiers and everything. The currency ratios weren't worth the time, honestly. The problem is that you could just do tiers 1 through 3 over and over again and not even bother doing tier 4 and 5. There was just no point other than self-accomplishment, and there also was like in-game achievements and titles for doing each on tier 5, I believe. So that was just up to you. So essentially, the grind to get these artifacts, like I said, it was a chore, but it had to be done if you wanted to remain best in slot. So now let's fast forward about a year and a half later, and now we're just putting them on the Zen market, right? So the company had the choice to either bring the event back or simply just put the artifacts or those chase items up for sale. Now, whether you agree with the decision they did or not, I think it was in the best interest to put them in the Zen store for cold hard cash. It's all about accessibility. That's what Chris Whiteside wants the future to Neverwinter to be. It's all about accessibility. We have Redeemed Citadel going on currently for several months. There was no way they were going to put Tales of Old back in the game during the same time that Redeemed Citadel was running. So the influx of community that missed out on the original Tales of Old and didn't have these best in slot artifacts was enough for the company to go ahead and pull the trigger and put them directly in the Zen store for purchase. And it's just the way it is. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, that's how things are going to be happening more unlikely further down the line as this game progresses. It's all about accessibility. You can use the ADX, you can buy it from other players, or you can simply swipe your credit card. Everyone's going to scream pay to win, and it is what it is. So your own personal opinions are your own personal opinions. The way I see it is that this helps the community more than it hurts the community, as well as it's helping the company at the same time. Remember, they are a business. They do need to generate revenue. So we have this huge limited time campaign going on right now of Redeem Citadel. There was no way that they were going to put Tales of Old in the game currently. So now the argument is, well, what about next year? What are they going to do next year? Is Tales of Old never going to come back again? Is Tales of Old going to come back next year? And is it going to be 4 new dungeons and a new set of artifacts that will indeed actually rival these artifacts? I mean, we just don't know. That is things in the future that we simply just, we have no idea what's coming in the future. So I would have liked to seen a few things different, personally. Once the Tales of Old event is over, in my personal opinion, there's no reason not to release those dungeons in the game permanently and have those artifacts just drop from those dungeons. There's 4 artifacts, there's 4 dungeons. Have those artifacts respectfully drop out of those dungeons and add those dungeons back to the queue. Why are they still being taken out of the game? Yes, it was fun. Yes, Tales of Old was great. It gave everyone hope that we would see future content like this coming. But unfortunately, it's coming up to the almost year and a half, almost 2-year mark since Tales of Old came around for the very first time. Why aren't those dungeons just added back into the queue and those artifacts just on the loot table? Why, only have the only source being the Zen Market for cold hard cash? Why not bring Dread Vault back? Why not bring, Frozen Heart back and just have the artifacts as a rare drop in the end chest of the dungeons? I mean, that's what seems logical to me, but it is what it is, and this is where we're at. So go ahead and leave me a comment below. We're not going to watch this whole dungeon. I mean, this video is already getting long. We still have another 10 minutes of this dungeon run. We're not going to watch all of this. But I did want to have a discussion about this. I did want to talk about the artifacts. I did want to, show you the statistics of the artifacts and how important they are to your character. To justify the price tag ultimately is, if you're paying cold hard cash, you're going to have to pay $45 just to get 3 artifacts. Then you have to level them up to Mythic, and then you have to buy 5 chapters out of the Wondrous Bazaar. So if you take Neverwinter seriously enough to do that, there are other artifacts in the game that are slightly less. You're not going to min-max, but you can use a different, 4 set artifact setup and you'll be fine. So you as a player need to make your own decisions on how to spend your money or how to develop your character. I can only give you the information. It's without a doubt the Tales of Old artifacts are best in slot, and they are going to remain best in slot for quite some time, in my opinion, until the company can release something new that will even remotely come close to rivaling them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the discussion. Make sure you leave me comments below. Join in the discussion. Join my Discord. We can always discuss things in there. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any questions regarding the Tales of Old, or the Tales of Old artifacts, or any questions at all, feel free to leave me a comment below. As always, hopefully you guys really enjoyed the video. That's all I got for you today, folks. I'll see you guys real soon.